This video is to show you how to cite your sources for your research assignments in APA, MLA, or Chicago style. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you how to cite in MLA, but the process is exactly the same for APA or Chicago styles in terms of using this program. So by now you should have figured out how to log into Noodle Tools. If not, check out the previous video that I've put out on our YouTube channel. And created a new project. Just a quick refresher, to do a new project, you would click the New Project button, enter in a project title, and select your citation style, and click Submit. I've already created a project, so I'm going to click in the project that I'm going to work on from this list right now. In this case, it's ENL 101 Final Paper. It's going to bring me into the dashboard, but for this video, I'm just going to show you how to cite your sources. So I'm going to click Sources at the top center here. So at this point, this is where my list of citations will be. I haven't added any yet, so it's going to be blank. To add sources, much like you would do for different projects, you would add a new source for each citation that you're going to add to this project. For the sake of this demonstration, I've already pulled up a couple of different articles, and I'm going to show you how to cite them from by filling out the form, as well as importing a citation where possible, as well as showing you how you can copy and paste a source in. So I'm going to start by citing this article right here, which I found from one of our online databases. So the first thing I'm going to do once I have my source, I'm going to go back to Noodle Tools and I'm going to click New Source. The first thing you need to determine is where you got the source from. In some cases, if you're citing a book or even your textbook, you might be citing something that you physically have in front of you, at which point you would select Print or in hand. In this case, I know I got this particular item from one of our online databases, so I'm going to select Database. The next question it's going to ask you is, what is the source? In this case, because I know I was looking for an academic journal, I know that this particular source is a journal source. So in Noodle Tools, I'm going to select where it says Journal. Oops. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me this form to fill out. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to fill this out to the best of our ability. So the first thing it's going to ask us for is the name of the database. I didn't show you how to do this, but I know I got this from Academic Search Premier. Academic Search Premier. If the database that you got this resource from isn't showing up in that dropdown, just continue to type the resource in. You can just do full text right there. The next thing it's asking for is the URL. Now this is actually a good thing that I want to show you. If you have your source right here and you want to do the URL, do not use this URL up here. This URL is only good for this session. As soon as you close this web page, this is no longer any good. So if you need to get the URL, you have to use the permanent link, which in this particular database, you can go over to the right and click this permalink, this chain link icon. And this is going to be the link that you're going to want to use to put into your citation. So I'm just going to copy this, go back over to Noodle Tools, and I'm going to paste it right here. For your citations, for the most part, you either need the URL or a DOI. The DOI is a document identification number. You usually would need one or the other depending on what your professor requests. So if your professor doesn't want a URL or a DOI, that's perfectly okay. Just leave out this step. With online resources, it's going to ask you for your most recent date of access. Most of the time, the most recent date of access is going to be today, so you can just click this Today link right here, and it will fill in the date for you. If it was another time, feel free to go through the drop through and change the date to whatever it needs to be. So that's the information on the database. Let's scroll down. The next thing it's going to start asking us about is the article itself. So the first thing it's going to ask is about the authors, which is pretty straightforward here. We've got J. Ingram and Joseph Kangemi, as well as parts of their title. So what we're going to do is for each author that's in here, we're going to fill out the form and just enter in the information. So the first author is J, doesn't have a middle name or initial, and Ingram. The suffix is only if it's like J. Ingram III or senior, junior. You don't have to enter in their credentials here. So now that I have the first author, I'm going to add a contributor, which is going to just give me another section to fill out so I can put in Joseph here. Joseph, C-A-N-G, there we go. So that's our two authors. Perfect. Scrolling down a little bit, the next thing it's asking me for is the article title, which I'm just going to copy right from here. Copy. And I'm just going to paste it in. In this case, it's not capitalized the way that you would need to, so you would need to know a little bit about your citation style to make sure you are putting in the capitalizations correctly. Whenever you see this triangle with the exclamation mark, click in here and it's going to kind of tell you what you would need to do in terms of formatting this correctly. So I actually have to go in here and change this up a little bit. I probably would have been better off just typing this all in as opposed to copying and pasting it, but for the sake of this, we are going to do it the quickest way we can usually. Implications on self-esteem. Self-esteem. Okay. So now you'll see that triangle has gone away. So that would say for the most part this is formatted the way it's supposed to be for MLA. The page numbers you can get just by scrolling through. Luckily this is a PDF, so it's going to give me the page numbers pretty easily. So I'm going to go from page 1. I'm just going to scroll down to the end and see what page this ended on, which looks like page 12. And that is going to be the article information. Now it's going to start asking us about the name of the journal. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit because I noticed the name of the journal is right up here at the top. So this journal is called College Student Journal. College Student Journal. Oops, I'd hope if I spelled that right. Journal. And it's asking for the volume and issue number and publication date. Well, I don't see that quite readily here. But if I go over and look at the side, usually this panel will show up no problem, but I'm going to click where it says detailed record so I can get some of that more of that information. And it's going to show me right here in this record where I can get that information. So this is from volume 53, issue number 1. The publication date looks like it was spring, which if we go to this drop down, it does give you the option to do spring and 2019. That's just the date that this journal was published. Now that I've got everything filled in, I'm just going to go to the bottom and I'm going to click Save. And then Noodle Tools takes all of that information and puts it into the proper format for you. In this case, it's for MLA style, but in either of the other citation styles, once you fill in that format, the program will fill it in based on whatever style you have selected. So there's one source. Let's close that one because we're done with that one right now. So I'm going to, now that you know basically where to find all of that information, I'm going to show you a slightly quicker way of bringing citations over. The first way I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to copy and paste a citation. Most of our databases have citation tools built into them, so a lot of times you will have the ability to at least copy and paste the citation. To do this, you're still going to have to create a new source. Again, I got this from a database, and I believe this one was another academic journal. At this point, once you see this form, you do up at the top have the option to quick cite to copy and paste a citation. I'm going to click this link right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to paste in a citation for this particular article, Game On to Game After. To find that citation, we're going to hop back over to the database. On the right-hand side of your page, you're going to see this gold paper icon, and if you scroll over it, it's going to say Cite. I'm going to click on that, and there we go. It will bring me a whole list of different citation styles here. Again, for this particular demo, I'm doing MLA, so I'm going to scroll right down to MLA, but you can see right here Chicago and APA references are here for you as well. I'm going to select, or I'm going to highlight and then copy the citation. I'm going to minimize that, and I'm just going to Control V to paste in the citation here. So at this point, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that this is formatted correctly. So doing a copying and pasting of a citation, you do kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge of your citation style so that you know that, okay, this has the correct capitalization. The author is written out here correctly. The format and the order of the information is put in correctly. If you have any questions about this, you can always feel free to contact the reference desk at refdesk@capecod.edu, and we can point you in the direction of some resources for how to make sure you are citing everything correctly. Looking at this really quick, with my knowledge of MLA, I would say that it is looking like it was put in correctly. I would just question this one part right here, but I don't actually have my MLA stuff in front of me, so that is something I would want to actually double check. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to say that this citation is correct, and I'm just going to click Save. So now I've got two sources in here. I've got the one that we entered in using the form, and I've got the one that I just copy and pasted in here. Again, with any of our databases, they should have some kind of a citation tool. It's just a matter of knowing where that tool is located, and you are able to copy and paste and then make changes for those citations later on. The last one I'm going to show you is this newspaper article, and I'm showing this to you from a different database because this database actually gives you the option to import a citation over, which is even faster. So from this particular database, this is one of our Gale databases, I want to cite this article. I'm going to click this Cite button up at the top. And again, I can select my citation style and I can copy and paste this right in just as I just showed you. However, this particular database gives us the option to export right into Noodle Tools. So that's what I'm going to do for this. So I know MLA is the citation that I want. I'm going to select Noodle Tools, and it's going to give me a pop-up window here. This is the citation that's going to be imported into my list here. Please note you can't make any changes here. It's not actually a text box. This is just showing you what's going to be coming in. This part here you can ignore. All you have to do at this point is just decide which project it's going to go in. I know it's going to go into this 101 final paper project here. And I'm going to click Import References just once. As soon as I see this green bar up here, I know that the source has been imported. I'm going to close this window right here. Go back into my Noodle Tools, and I'm just going to refresh the page. So I have two sources, and now I have that third source, which is this one right here. So that's 3 ways of importing sources into Noodle Tools. You can always go in at a later date under this Options button and click Edit, and you can make any changes that you need to. For instance, this page does not look right, so I'm going to actually delete that part out. And I'm going to say for this link that for this citation style that my professor doesn't want me to include URLs, so I'm going to actually just delete this URL out of here, just to show you how easy it is to edit these. And I'm going to click Save. So this is my new citation for that one. And just for consistency's sake, I'm just going to go in real quick, and I'm going to take out the URL for all of these. just to show you how easy it is to edit. This one's going to be a little bit different because it was copy and pasted, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to highlight where I had that URL and I'm just going to delete it out. And then I'm just going to click Save. So the last thing I want to show you real quick is this is my final list. Now I want to be able to bring this over and put it into Microsoft Word. So what I'm going to do is under this Print and Export dropdown, I'm going to print and export to Word, and it's going to create a download for me to click on here. Once it's done, there we go. I'm just going to double click to open it. It's having a little hissy fit, I apologize. And this is my citation page. You'll notice that even though I put those in at completely different orders, it has alphabetized it for me. It has done your double spacing with your hanging indent, so it's formatted it all the way that you need to. At this point, you can print this and hand it in, or you can select everything and copy and paste it into whatever paper that you are working on. So at this point, that is the basics of how to cite sources in Noodle Tools. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to the reference desk. You can email us at this time at refdesk@capecod.edu. Thank you.